Hey guys, just wanted to talk about the recent name release that Jagex did a couple days ago. So, if you haven't heard, basically they got a bunch of unused names starting with letters A, B, and C so far. Apparently contacted the players just saying something along the lines of, I suppose, hey, your name's been inactive for quite a while. Are you still using that? If not, we're going to free it up by this date. And it seems like a lot of players didn't get back to that because they have since put out the name lists that they've made free, and there are a lot of names there. And a ton of people I've seen running around lately have all got, short names starting with A, B, or C, so it's pretty obvious that a lot of people are actually getting involved in changing their name to something new. I guess we'll see if that's going to be a permanent thing and they're going to keep the names, or if they're just going to keep them for a short period, I suppose, and then change back to their original ones. Personally, I don't really have any. I'm not really too interested in changing my name. I've had this one for about 12 years, so might stay that way. Um, anyway, so it was interesting that when they released the names, this is the first time that I'm aware of that they've done a bulk name release and specifically said the date and time when it was going to happen. So, because they have done that, obviously a lot of people have ensured that they were on at that particular date and time to collect the name that they were after, and it's just absolutely hammered the name changing system and basically crashed it, causing it to be unavailable for almost everyone. So there were people waiting hours in line, I guess, just to change the name, and other people got in and got names before them, or people weren't able to change at all, and basically no one was really too happy about that. So it doesn't seem like that went too well. Um, there was a couple of news posts about this and potential fixes that they're going to do. I believe on the day that the name releases went live, they put in a change to rate limit the amount of names that you could look up, so that you can't just sit there looking up a bunch of names, which would cause load on the servers. So you'd only be able to look up a certain amount every minute or so, for example. After that, there was a forum post by Mod Pips on the RuneScape forums, basically putting forward some suggestions, looking for player feedback in regards to what they can do to fix this problem in future. Because obviously they've only done letters A, B, and C. There's going to be, a ton more other letters to get through in future. So, do you fix it, or do you just leave things how they are and have this problem every name release? So obviously Jagex have decided that something needs to be done, which is good because obviously it does. The current system isn't going to work if they're going to be releasing so many names in the near future. So it looks like the current suggestions that they've got are potentially changing to a silent or staged release system. So basically, rather than making a big announcement and making a big deal of when this is going to happen, and telling people, it's just they'll just do it in the background silently without really letting anyone know. So that could be good. That's how name releases used to work in my experience. They used to just happen, and you'd eventually discover that the name you were after has been freed up, and you can go and grab that. So that could potentially work, but obviously players would have to continually check up on names they want, rather than you know being told, hey, on date X, your name will probably be available, so go and check. So don't know if it could work. Well, personally, I actually like that one, but I know a lot of people won't because they don't want to have to log in every day and see if a name's available. And also, obviously, potentially, someone else could beat them to it in that instance, so probably not the best option. Another option that was put forward was to pre-publish the list. So this time, all the names went live, and they were available for anyone to take. Ooh, Dragon plate skirt. Fantastic. I always get plate skirts for some reason. Never had the legs, which always sucked back in the day because obviously the legs they sold for a lot more than the skirt just because of how they looked. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so pre-publishing the names. This time they put all the names live, and then they they told us they gave us the lists a couple days later. So if you pre-publish the lists, in theory, everyone would be able to read over the lists, see the names that are available, decide what they want to pick. Whereas at the moment, you have to look up your name and see if it's available. And the problem with doing that is everyone would be trying to look up, multiple names over and over in a short period of time, and that can be a problem because that's what generates the load on the servers, is players checking for names. So if you make that list available beforehand, they can go through and see what's there, and there would be no load on the servers because they'd already have a list. I guess the problem with that is the list would quickly become outdated, and they'd have to fall back on the previous method of searching up the names manually anyway, so it might not work indefinitely, but could definitely remove the increase the load on release. Another option they were looking to do potentially would be to disable checking. So that would obviously solve the problem. But okay, so what they were doing was disable checking, but only letting you check when you commit to, I suppose, change the name. So basically only checks would happen when players definitely want to change and they're going to change the names, rather than just searching to see what's available. So again, it comes back to the pre-published list. If you have the list, people aren't necessarily going to need to continually look up and hit the servers to see what names are available, because they can already get that until the list gets out of date. So I guess that maybe a compromise between some of these solutions are probably going to be required. And I guess that's why Jagex are asking for feedback on the forums. They want to know what players think would be the best solution here and what they should go with for the future name releases. So if you have any ideas, I suggest you get into that thread on the forums and let them know. So it's just in the general forum. It's sticky at the moment by ModPips. It's already got a few hundred posts. And one of the other options they were suggesting was Head Start, basically allowing high-level players or players that have older accounts to get priority in picking a name. So I guess that'd be beneficial for all the old players out there like me, but personally I don't really think that's too fair. I mean, it's just a name change. Does it really need to be based on how long you've played? I don't think so, but I guess that would help decrease the load. Yeah, if you did it in a gradual way like that, but probably not the best in my opinion. I also found interesting on that forum thread that ModPips basically said, something along the lines of, please note that telling us to fix our servers isn't the way to fix this problem. And he's exactly right. I mean, I manage servers a lot, and it's very pointless and trivial to basically redo a whole system and make it super scalable and able to cope with all this load when it's only going to be used for just a short burst, a short period. You'd have to sink in so many people and resources in order to get this thing going, just for a short trivial task essentially when it comes down to it. I mean, it's just name changing. It's not that important. So yeah, well, I mean, if you want to help fix the problem, give them some feedback on these options that they've provided. But yeah, just saying fix your servers to make the load work isn't really a solution in my opinion. So yeah, if you feel strongly about this and want to help fix the problem going forward, I guess check out the forum thread in general at the moment and leave your feedback. Cool, thanks, cheers.